Well, the big news is here. Chrono Odyssey's closed beta test date has been revealed. Well, more precisely, it's actually the month, but we've got that and some little bit of snippets about the game. So we're going to jump in because I'm very excited, so let's share the deets. First things first, today they released a new trailer that is basically called the closed beta announcement trailer. And at the end of it, it shows a new date, or it shows the date of the test, which is going to be June 2025. Now that kind of caught me by surprise, even though technically it probably shouldn't have. And that's because in the recent financials that Kakao gave us, they said that the closed beta test date would be announced in May, and it has been. It is now been announced in May, and that the date of it would be in the first half of 2025. But I was saying that seems awfully quick. Maybe it'll be the end of June. Maybe it'll be, probably more likely early July or something like that. Well, you know what? I was wrong. It is officially now coming in June 2025. Now, I still think it's going to be towards the end of June, partly to skip Dune, and partly because that just seems likely, right? But things are definitely speeding up at Kakao and at Chrono Studios. They are starting to pump. Now, there are some additional details with this beta test, some of which I think some of you will not be happy about. And that is the playtest is actually only going to feature 3 out of the 6 classes. That's going to be the Swordsman, the Ranger, and the Berserker. Now, does this mean there'll be a secondary test at some point in the future with changes made to the first one where we get to play the other classes? I don't know. As far as I know, nothing has been said of the sort, so we're just going to have to assume, it might happen, it might not. They do also say that the beta is going to focus on the early game, basically the early quest, which makes sense. They don't want to reveal everything straight away, kind of what Dune did recently, where it's just maybe the starting area or something like that. You can, of course, sign up for this on Steam. Now, PlayStation did also put this trailer up and they said just like wishlist it. So this beta isn't coming to console, but the game still is. And for more news, it sounds like we can tune in to Summer Game Fest, which I think is on the 6th of June. In a tweet, they say, "Time waits for no one, but counting down the seconds for Summer Games Fest. Let's go, Jeff Keighley." So, something is happening there. And Jeff Keighley also replies, "See you June 6th. My uneducated guess would be that we'll probably see some kind of gameplay trailer there and probably the actual announcement of the date of the beta. Either way, things are ramping up for Chrono. They've got the Summer Game Fest slot booked. We're going to be playing 3 classes in the early game and it's coming in June. That's pretty big. And we'd seen the recent teaser with the 2025 at the end of the, oh my god, we messed up, it's 2025. So, I mean, everything seems to align with what they said in the financials and the things that they are teasing. The dates are matching and aligning to the fact that it could very well release this year. And it just seems like they're going to have a short hype cycle, right? We're going to play it in June, find out about it in June, and probably release in something like November. With a big caveat there, if people get their hands on the game and it turns out that everybody kind of agrees that 1 or 2 things need changing, and it turns out that those changes will take longer than that period of time, maybe the game will get delayed. I always think that might happen because I'm so used to delays. But you know what? Korean developers might just be pumpers. We think the business model, and I just mentioned Korea, so I'm going to mention the business model. We think that's going to be buy to play with no pay to win. Obviously, once we actually see the store, then we'll probably be able to properly be able to judge that. Right now, let's just enjoy the fact we're going to get the beta. Yes, it's only 3 classes, but that will give enough people a little bit of a taste of the game, and it might even get you more excited for the class that you actually want to play. Swordsman kind of sounds like a medium damage dealer. The Berserker probably a bit more aggressive melee damage dealer. And then the Ranger will be your rangedy boy. Obviously the Sorcerer there is going to be missed. I think a lot of people want to play that. Same with the Assassin actually. Paladin, a lot of people want to play the Paladin, but I think we can live without it for this test. And then there's been some kind of other things. I don't even know how to call this, but basically they've released a fandom wiki. And there's a lot of lore information on that site. I'm going to leave a link in the description and I'll try and pin a comment with it. But basically, they tell you the whole story of the world. Now, there's some minor spoilers here, but I'm going to completely butcher it. But basically, Kronos is the god of time. He created these 12 planets. We're on one of these planets. One guy got annoyed that his planet wasn't very good and he unleashed the void. The void is consuming everything. They tried to invade. We now fended them off, or we're trying to fend them off. And, there's a whole thing about Chronotectors, who's the sentinels of the Chronotectors, who the guardians are and stuff like that. Not going to go into it here, but if you're somebody who really likes lore, then check that out. There's a few little interesting bits that might be relevant to playability in the game, like the Chronotector. Some of the abilities are just listed. Nothing that I don't think we've seen or anything crazy, but might be something you want to check out. And they also tell us about these like established houses in the world, which kind of sound like factions, but I don't know if they are. Maybe they're just people that we align with and they'll unlock certain things, because there's a military one, there's a crafting one, there's a religious order that worships the god of Kronos, and they actually have their own pope and stuff like that. Some really interesting things in there, but I don't think this is really the video to go through everything and say what it is. Either way, I am excited. This is great news. Things are happening. A bit of me is, on one hand, I'm kind of disappointed because I was going to play Dune Awakening, and I think I'm just going to like completely scratch that. Focus on Chrono Odyssey. That is my game that I really want to put all my efforts into, all my energy into that. And I'm very, very excited. Today's excited as a person who can't speak French, but is trying to speak French, might say. Let me know your thoughts. I'm genuinely curious. It's a little bit of a shame not to have all the classes, but wow. I mean, we are ramping up. We are ramping up. It is ramping up. Sign up for the closed beta on Steam. Let's hope you get in. And yeah, probably not going to be an NDA, by the way, because otherwise they wouldn't be showing all this stuff and talking about it. It would be a bit more private, I think. So it'll be probably NDA free. Sort of like the Dune test that I think we had, where you'll probably need to get in. But if you're in, crack on, show whatever you want. Super, super excited. I mean, I was a little bit shocked to see June. I was like, oh, it's probably just going to say July, and then nope, June. And I was like, oh, geez, big pumpers, big pumping. It's pumping. My body is ready for Summer Games Fest and Chrono. Have a most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.